The world is changing and your body might send you into a state of total shock that makes you feel like you are about to die. Listen up. You're not gonna die. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back. If you're a subscriber, I'm here with another one. If you're new and you've just come across this channel, I'm Simi. I'm so happy to have you here. I hope you stay, I hope you subscribe, hope you like, I hope you share, all of the good stuff. Now that the sales pitch is concluded, time to get to the topic of the day. So today I'm going to talk about the nervous system, right? What is the nervous system? So the nervous system is a network within our bodies that sends signals and information, throughout our bodies to other parts of our bodies. Our bodies are really intelligently made and wired, so we might not realize just how much our body picks up on things outside of ourselves and in our environment. The nervous system picks up on things in our environment and together with the endocrine system come up with solutions and appropriate measures and responses, for those things that it's detecting and picking up. So I'm going to need my glasses as we get just a little bit deeper into this topic. I've made some notes down here because I don't want to forget anything and I don't want to say anything inaccurate. Just a short little caveat before we get started. Obviously, I am not a doctor, I am not a professional. These are just things that I've picked up and that I've learned and tips that have worked for me in managing and stabilizing my nervous system, but they could work for you too, so I figured I'd just share the little bit that I know. So the nervous system is split up into subcategories. Today we're concerned with two. The first is the sympathetic nervous system and the second is the parasympathetic nervous system. So a great analogy that I found online that helped me to understand the differences between the two is that the sympathetic nervous system acts as the accelerator portion of the nervous system. So this is when your fight or flight response would need to kick in. This is when you'd need to make a quick decision regarding your safety. This is when your nervous system is like, hey. We gotta, getting your muscles prepared and getting everything else prepared for a fight or to engage. And the parasympathetic nervous system does the opposite. So this is the one that typically slows things down. This is the restorative portion of your nervous system. This is when your body and your nervous system gets the chance to recuperate, to rest, to regroup, and just to restore and reserve and conserve energy and protect your energy reserves. So that's just a very basic breakdown to help you understand a little bit more about the nervous system. And so now I think I'll just get into some tips of how I stabilize my nervous system when or regulate it and keep it in a place of balance and stability so it doesn't go all over the place. So the first tip would be to not jerk the nervous system up and down or in and out too much. Let's start with an example based on jerking your sympathetic nervous system in and out or up and down, and that would be caffeine. So when we jolt our nervous system and we give it a stimulant like coffee, what we force it to do is to work harder and faster, and its primary function already is to act as the accelerator. But what we do is that we don't let the body decide or sense when that function is called for, but rather we force our body to kick it into the gear of acceleration and of that function so that it works unnecessarily harder and faster, and this is where you run the risk of burnout, right? So having coffee is fine. I have a jolt. I like a morning jolt. It helps me to wake up. There are healthier ways to do this, but my point is that excessive. Having a coffee in the morning is fine, but once you start jerking it in and out too often with the stimulant, that's when you can really throw yourself and your nervous system out of whack. So when it comes to the parasympathetic nervous system, let's look at an example like tryptophan, which is a very strong sleeping pill, which also kind of deals with lowering the effects of anxiety and stress and depression. So with antidepressants and stimulants like this, rather than accelerating, they slow down. They kind of induce a state of calm and peace. And these are a really good way in the short term to jolt yourself out of those feelings and phases that are caused and associated with depression and the likes, right? But the issue with this becomes that you throw yourself out of whack, because similarly to the coffee idea, it's taking it away from 0 point and the point of balance, where you let your body naturally detect and decide, or train your body how to call upon different elements of the nervous system. Because now what you're doing is inducing a state of euphoria. And the issue with inducing states of euphoria is that you kind of lose the ability, and you kind of diminish your nervous system's ability to create that on its own and do that for itself. And this is something we're all capable of. Tip number 2, mindfulness. The fact that you're watching this video means that you already are in a state of mindfulness, and you are, I would say, at a good starting point of the mindfulness journey as it concerns your well-being and your nervous system. And being aware of the basics about your nervous system also helps you to form some good habits that you can weave into your day-to-day that can help and support your nervous system. I think it's the least we can do. Our bodies do such a good job, and often we don't recognize or give our bodies enough credit for the work that it's constantly doing to carry us. And so for me, it's become really important to be in a state of gratitude and give and take with my body, so that I appreciate my body and treat it better. In this new relationship that I'm forming with my body, I find that it's a fair and equal exchange if I learn more about my body and just the very basics of how to maintain it and what it goes through on a day-to-day basis. Tip number 3. Do not bog it down. So in a perfect world, of course, we'd all be eating brain foods all the time, and we wouldn't be bothering with foods that are not as healthy for our bodies. But we are human, and we do binge from time to time, and that is okay. But I think that we need to always strive for a place of balance. So the thing about our bodies is that it's a network and everything is interwoven. So even though something like digestion may not really seem to be related to another area, for instance, it really is, because what happens is that our body's intelligence and design and our built-in wiring and intelligence does a really good job of picking up the slack when other parts of your body work harder. So if you eat foods that are heavy and bog you down, if the digestive system is working harder than it should be and everything else, it rolls over into another thing and then another thing and then another thing. And then, you have several parts of the body now working harder than they should be, and that can lead to some, major problems and issues. Tip number 4, move. So not only are you keeping the relationship between the parts of your body that are responsible for coordination strong and healthy and agile, but when we exercise, our bodies release endorphins such as dopamine that actually help in supporting the parasympathetic nervous system, leading to less anxiety, less stress, and all of those good things, because we actually dump all of those chemicals when we're working out. Tip number 5. Breathe. Okay? I know how annoying it was when we all asked Russell Simmons how he, got such peace and how he made all his money and his empire, and he told us to breathe and smile. We were like, but I'm here to tell you that it works. So breathing is partly responsible for regulating your blood flow. And this is important because breathing really stimulates the lymphatic system. And what is the lymphatic system? Simply put, this is the system that carries and pumps the lymph fluid or the blood, which contains the white blood cells that are infection fighting throughout your body. So you can see why this is important. Just breathe. Also, what you may have noticed is that when you get into a panicked state or a state of anxiety, your breathing starts to get really shallow. So it stops being, and it's like, I've caught myself many a times forgetting to breathe, and I'm just like, whoa, like it seems simple, but trust me, a lot of the time we don't do this correctly. So it would be up to us to train ourselves and train our bodies and our minds to kind of recognize when those moments happen and make a different decision about how you want your blood to flow, and start breathing differently in that moment. Say, hey, I recognize that my breathing is getting a bit shallow because I'm panicking right now. Okay, let's get the blood moving. So yep, that's tip number 5. Tip number 6, sleep. So I have no right talking on this one because honestly, insomnia is something that I really struggle with, but I'm working on it. So similarly to what we discussed about the parasympathetic nervous system, this sleep period is really a chance for your body to restore, to the cells to regenerate, recuperate, rest, and do all of those good things that you do when your body gets a chance to just shut down, which it doesn't really even do because, it's still working. Tip number 7 is one of my favorites, and it is, you guessed it, aromatherapy is a holistic healing method that involves oils, with different scents that are, extracted from plants. And I really love this method because I find that for myself, I don't know how true this is, but I found that it's one of the quickest ways to train the nervous system. If we just put aside for a second what it does physically, which is totally separate from what I'm talking about now, which you can look up on your own. Different scents are used for different things. So if you introduce certain scents at specific times consistently, what you'll find is that it can foster brain connections and associations that can actually regulate activities, for instance sleep or waking up. So an example that I could give is that for sleeping, I really love to use lavender. I've introduced lavender as a way of alerting my nervous system that it's time to take it down. Let's, get into some parasympathetic nervous system action and wind down and go to sleep. On the other hand, lemongrass really helps me to wake up. That's when I need to speed it up, kick it into a gear that allows me to be active, to move. It's like that hello world energy boost that you need. And so yeah, try it out, let me know how it goes. Get into nature. There are a number of studies that were done about this that I've not read today or prior to this video, but it's kind of a wide known sentiment that getting into nature really helps to regulate your nervous system. And I think it might have a little to do with circadian rhythms. So circadian rhythms are sleep and wake up cycles, like the rhythm of the cycle, how it moves, and the stages and times at which things happen during the cycle. So not only do we as humans have a circadian rhythm, the earth does too, plants do too, animals do too, some microbes do too. So it's merging and getting one with the rhythm of the one, if that makes sense. So my last tip is going to be crystals. So this is going to be a little bit out there and a little bit, you know, hocus pocusy for some people, which I understand. It's totally fine. Would just really rely on your belief system. This is not proven. There's no scientific proof to what I'm about to say, but this is my belief, which is what supports it, I think, right? So in my thinking, I feel as though stones and crystals have different molecular structures that give it different kind of energy, a different kind of, what would I call it? A different kind of energy signature that it holds, and a frequency that's the word that I was looking for, that it holds and emits. So whichever space that you put it in would start to have the resonance of that stone if it was charged and if it was strong enough. And it's charged by the sun, by the moon, which we know that the sun does give off energy, but it's not proven, like I said. But what's interesting to me to remember is that I've just read Dr. Joe Dispenza's You Are the Placebo, and I honestly believe in the placebo effect. And I think that if it is your belief that something does a certain thing, it is my belief that crystals do enhance the energy and change the energy vibrational signature of the spaces that they inhibit, right? It becomes that way. It's all really dependent on your belief, and humans are really notorious for making things real through belief. Somebody could imagine or kind of make up a story, and because collectively we all believed in it, the Bible, we would form a belief system that supports it and pushes that idea and somehow turns it into some version of a reality, right? So in the end, does it really matter if crystals do what people say they do or not? I personally don't think so, but that's just my opinion. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that it helps. If you found this video to be valuable, I would ask you to please leave a like, to please subscribe, share this. It would really help me to grow my channel, because your girl is trying to post more, be more consistent, and bring you guys really some more valuable content that I feel like you would actually use. See you in the next one.